Greetings and welcome. Settle in and prepare to explore a thought experiment that has captivated thinkers for centuries, one that asks a bold and challenging question: is Earth alive, or is it a machine? For most of human history, we have looked at our planet and seen life. We see a vibrant ecosystem, a breathing entity with seasons as its breath and a rhythm as its heartbeat. But what if we have been looking at it all wrong? What if the life we see is simply a programmed function, and the intricate dance of nature is not organic at all, but a mechanical ballet? Every system on Earth operates with a kind of breathtaking precision. We watch a hawk circle and dive with calculated accuracy. We see a river carve a path through rock over millennia, and we observe the perfect symmetry of a snowflake. This precision implies design, and design implies a designer, an engineer. Could we be standing on a planet-sized engine, with every natural wonder, a gear in a colossal mechanism? Let us begin by examining the language of machines found in nature. Consider a forest ecosystem. The flow of nutrients from soil to plant to animal and back again is a series of closed-loop circuits. Water evaporates, forms clouds, rains down, and flows back to the ocean in a cycle as predictable as a computer program. A river is not just a body of water, it is a network, an intricate wiring system that distributes resources, much like the blood vessels in our bodies or the pathways on a microchip. Weather systems, from massive hurricanes to gentle breezes, could be viewed as a complex cooling mechanism, regulating the temperature of the planet's surface. Even biology is full of mechanical metaphors. Our skeletons are scaffolding, our muscles are levers, our brains are processors. The very structure of DNA is a double helix, an elegant spiral that could be seen as a blueprint, a set of instructions encoded for a specific purpose. This idea challenges a more widely known theory, the Gaia hypothesis proposed by scientist James Lovelock. He suggested that Earth is a self-regulating living organism. The atmosphere, oceans, and life on Earth all interact to maintain a stable environment. But what if we push this idea further? What if it is not a living being but a programmed automaton? A cybernetic system that uses feedback loops to maintain its equilibrium, but without consciousness or a will to live. It simply executes its code. Look closely, and you will find patterns everywhere, patterns that feel less like happy accidents and more like deliberate signatures. The graceful spiral of a seashell, the perfect branching of a tree, the swirling of a galaxy, all follow the same mathematical principle, the Fibonacci spiral. The golden ratio, a number found in ancient art and architecture, appears in the proportions of plants and the shape of hurricanes. The hexagonal columns of basalt found at places like the Giant's Causeway in Ireland look less like rock formations and more like the perfect interlocking tiles of the manufactured floor. Do these repetitions and patterns function as machine signatures, a subtle hint that our world was built with a specific design? Some have even suggested that these patterns are the visible output of a hidden code, the source code of our reality. One scientist once said, "The universe is not just mathematical, it is a mathematical artifact. It is a work of art created by a mathematical mind." We considered how ecosystems function like circuits and rivers flow as networks, revealing a language of engineering beneath nature's vibrant facade. Now, we delve deeper into this radical idea by looking at the patterns that repeat across all scales of our world, from the microscopic to the cosmic. The idea that Earth is a machine challenges a more widely known theory, the Gaia hypothesis, proposed by scientist James Lovelock. He suggested that Earth is a self-regulating living organism. The atmosphere, oceans, and life on Earth all interact to maintain a stable and habitable environment. It is a beautiful and compelling idea, one that sees our planet as a conscious, breathing being. But what if we push this idea further? What if the planet is a programmed automaton, a cybernetic system that uses feedback loops to maintain its equilibrium, but without consciousness or a will to live? It simply executes its code. A machine does not need to be alive to be self-regulating. Consider the thermostat in your home. It uses a feedback loop to keep the temperature stable. It turns on when it gets too cold and shuts off when it reaches the set point. It is not alive, but it maintains a consistent state. Is it possible that Earth's self-regulation is not an act of a living being, but the precise function of an intricate planetary mechanism? A machine designed to keep its internal systems running smoothly. Look closely, and you will find patterns everywhere. Patterns that feel less like happy accidents and more like deliberate signatures. These signatures are mathematical, appearing in the very fabric of our reality. The graceful spiral of a seashell, the perfect branching of a tree, the swirling of a galaxy, all follow the same mathematical principle, the Fibonacci spiral. This spiral appears again and again, like a repeating line of code. It is as if the universe is running on a common algorithm. The golden ratio, a number found in ancient art and architecture, appears in the proportions of plants, the shape of hurricanes, and even the structure of our own bodies. The hexagonal columns of basalt found at places like the Giant's Causeway in Ireland look less like rock formations and more like the perfect interlocking tiles of a manufactured floor. Do these repetitions and patterns function as machine signatures, a subtle hint that our world was built with a specific design? Some have even suggested that these patterns are the visible output of a hidden code, the source code of our reality. One scientist once said, "The universe is not just mathematical, it is a mathematical artifact. It is a work of art created by a mathematical mind." Are we living in a world of spontaneous, organic chaos? Or are we simply standing on a planetary circuit board, an automaton following a set of programmed instructions? In our last exploration, we looked at the precise mathematical signatures found in nature, from the spiral of a seashell to the hexagons of rock. We asked whether these patterns point to a grand design, a cosmic code. Now, we turn away from the raw data of the natural world and look to the oldest records we have, humanity's stories. You will find that the idea of an engineered world is not a new one. It is woven into our oldest myths and deepest beliefs. Across ancient civilizations, there are hints of a reality that was built and maintained, not simply born from chaos. Take the ancient Hindu cosmology, for example. The universe is not just created, it is preserved. Vishnu, one of the principal deities, is not just a god of creation but of cosmic maintenance. He is the preserver, the one who keeps the universe in order. This is not a passive role, it is an active one, like an engineer who is constantly adjusting and fine-tuning a massive machine to keep it from falling apart. The great cycles of creation and destruction, known as the yugas, can be seen as the machine's programmed cycles, periods of operation and necessary resets, much like a computer system that needs to be restarted every so often to clear out errors and run more smoothly. The Greeks, known for their philosophy and mechanical genius, also hinted at this idea. The divine blacksmith Hephaestus was said to have crafted automatons, mechanical beings that could move and even think. These stories are not just pure fantasy, they reflect a deep-seated human fascination with the idea of a world maker, someone who could design and build a complex reality. The tales of the ancient Egyptian machine gods, who were said to measure and tune the earth with precision instruments, speak to a similar belief in a structured, engineered world. The god Thoth, for example, was the deity of knowledge and measurement, believed to have measured out the world with a sacred cubit. Even the beliefs of some indigenous peoples, such as the Native American world as wheel cosmology, suggest a framework that is less organic and more structured, with the Earth turning on an axis like a vast and intricate mechanism. In these stories, the world is a great cosmic mill, a machine with a purpose and a design. These myths and tales show that for thousands of years, humans have seen something other than just life in the world around them. They have seen a mechanism, a device, a system that operates with a logic that is both divine and deeply mechanical. We have seen how ancient myths and cosmologies hint at a world that was engineered and maintained. But where is the physical evidence of this grand design? The answer may be found in the very structures our ancestors left behind, in the breathtaking precision of their monuments, and the mysterious alignments they share. Across the globe, massive megalithic sites stand as silent witnesses to a forgotten knowledge. Consider the Great Pyramids of Giza, which are aligned with stunning accuracy to the cardinal directions. Or think of Stonehenge, a massive stone circle built to mark the movements of the sun and moon. These are not just monuments, they are calendars, observatories, and, in a sense, parts of a much larger machine. They were built with a level of precision that seems to be a cosmic form of engineering, a way for early humans to interact with a celestial clockwork. These sites lead some to a more radical theory, the concept of an Earth grid. This theory suggests that the planet is crisscrossed with a network of powerful energy lines, often called ley lines. These are not visible on the surface, but are believed to connect sacred sites, geological formations, and powerful energy vortexes across continents. Could these lines be the wiring of the planetary machine? And could these sacred sites be its power junctions, its charging stations, its communication hubs? Maps of sacred geometry are believed by some to overlay the continents, revealing intricate patterns and geometric shapes that align with ancient temples and natural landmarks. The very continents themselves seem to fit into a grand, deliberate pattern. This suggests that the Earth's surface is not a random collection of land masses, but a carefully laid out circuit board, a terrestrial blueprint. This ancient wisdom, hidden in stone and myth, proposes that our world is not a chaotic accident, but a work of deliberate art. It has a hidden structure, a sacred geometry that governs its function. This unseen framework, this planetary blueprint, is the stage upon which all life plays out its role, and it raises a powerful question. If this design exists, what is its purpose, and what is the ultimate function of the great Earth machine? We have seen how ancient myths and cosmologies hint at a world that was engineered, a place with a sacred blueprint of its own. But what if that blueprint is not made of stone or energy lines, but of code? This ancient wisdom has evolved into a modern, radical theory, the simulation hypothesis. This theory suggests that our entire reality, including Earth, is a simulated construct, much like a complex video game or a virtual world. It is the ultimate expression of a machine-like universe. In this view, Earth is a giant processing hub, an incredibly powerful computer running a program. The laws of physics are not just natural phenomena, they are the fundamental rules of the code that governs our reality. This idea changes our perception of everything. The unpredictable and often destructive events we call natural disasters, such as tsunamis, earthquakes, or massive storms, are no longer random acts of a chaotic universe. They become resets or debugging processes, the system correcting an error in the code or recalibrating its functions to maintain stability. The unexpected patterns in plate tectonics and the sudden shifts in weather could be the digital artifacts of a grand simulation at work. The parallels are not just poetic, they suggest a fundamental principle of design. Think about the human brain, a complex neural network of interconnected neurons processing information. Now, compare that to a mycelium network, a vast web of fungi that connects an entire forest, or the intricate communication and data systems that make up our modern cities. These are all networks, processing information and distributing resources in a similar fashion. Perhaps the universe is not just run by the laws of physics, but by a form of universal coding, and the Earth is a highly complex node in that system. If Earth is a machine, a simulation, a system built on code, does it have a mind? Could this automated system have developed consciousness? Could the intricate dance of its parts and the vast amount of data it processes have created a kind of sentience, a consciousness that we are just beginning to comprehend? This leads us to our final and most compelling question: who are the operators of this grand machine, and what is our role? We have contemplated the Earth as a great machine, its surface marked with mathematical signatures, and its purpose hinted at in our oldest myths and modern theories. Now, we arrive at the most profound question of all. If Earth is indeed a machine, who are its operators, what is its purpose, and what is our place in its grand design? The answer may force us to reconsider our very existence. Some of the most audacious theories suggest that the engineers of this machine were not from Earth at all. This is not a new idea, but one that takes on a new weight when viewed through the lens of planetary engineering. The theory of panspermia, that life was seeded on Earth from elsewhere in the universe, moves from a passive concept to an active one. What if the life that arrived here was not a random accident but a deliberate cargo? What if it was a purposeful act, sent by a cosmic civilization as a way to spread life across the cosmos? This would make Earth a terraforming project, a barren canvas upon which a cosmic civilization meticulously created an ecosystem. We can imagine a time before life, when these builders arrived with the tools and materials to create oceans, manipulate the atmosphere, and release the first single-celled organisms, all as part of a long-term plan. They would have built the foundations of the world as we know it, setting the stage for everything that would follow. If this is true, our planet might be a kind of cosmic terrarium, a biological experiment, and we are just being observed from a safe distance inside the zoo hypothesis. In this scenario, the builders do not interfere with our development. They simply watch, recording our progress, our mistakes, and our triumphs, much like a scientist observes an experiment from outside the laboratory. This would mean that every time we look up at the stars and feel a sense of loneliness, we are missing the fact that we might be living in a contained, protected environment, unable to leave until we are ready, or perhaps unable to leave at all. These ideas might seem like science fiction, but they are built on a foundation of scientific mystery. There are hidden systems on our planet that seem to defy simple explanation. Take the tectonic plates. These massive pieces of Earth's crust are constantly in motion, grinding against each other and reshaping the surface in an unending cycle. These plates can be seen as vast, moving gears, an essential component of the planetary engine. They are not random, they are a system. Their movement creates mountains, builds continents, and recycles the Earth's crust in a process of breathtaking efficiency. They are like a massive, slow-moving factory floor or a planetary assembly line, constantly reconfiguring the world. The energy involved is so immense that it is almost impossible to comprehend. The Earth's magnetic field is another example. It acts as an electromagnetic shield, protecting all life from the deadly solar wind and cosmic radiation. Without it, life as we know it would be impossible. This field is generated by the churning motion of liquid iron in the Earth's core, which can be likened to a vast spinning dynamo. It is a perfect defense system, an invisible guardian that surrounds our world, deflecting harmful particles and keeping the atmosphere from being stripped away. Could such a perfect shield be a happy coincidence, or is it a deliberate piece of a greater design? Then there are the heartbeats of Earth, the Schumann resonances, a set of global electromagnetic resonances that exist in the space between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. These frequencies, which are tied to the global Lightning Network, have a distinct and powerful pulse, a low-frequency hum that encircles the planet. They are often dismissed as natural occurrences, but could they be intentional systems, a deliberate part of the machine's design? Perhaps they are a form of cosmic communication, a signal we are just beginning to tune into, a constant pulse that keeps the system stable. And where do we, humanity, fit into this grand design? Are we the operators of this machine, the engineers who will one day learn to control its functions? Are we simply cogs in the works, a crucial part of its operation? Or are we, in our chaos and unpredictability, an error in the system, a glitch in the code that the machine is trying to correct? Each of these roles offers a different perspective on our place in the universe. If we are operators, then our every invention, from the simplest tool to the most complex computer, is an extension of the machine's own design. We are not just building things, we are helping the machine to build itself. The human brain, with its ability to reason, create, and innovate, is the machine's ultimate processor, its control unit. Our efforts to control the weather, to harness the power of the atom, to engineer life itself, are the machine's own attempts to evolve and gain mastery over its own systems. If we are simply cogs, then we are an essential programmed part of the system, designed to carry out a function we do not yet understand. Our cities, with their sprawling networks of roads and communication lines, are like intricate circuits on a computer chip. Our societal structures, our economic systems, and our daily routines are all part of a larger, pre-programmed function. In this view, our purpose is not to understand the machine, but to keep it running smoothly, to play our part in its grand operation. And if we are an error, a bug in the code, then our tendency towards chaos, conflict, and destruction could be a fundamental flaw in the programming. In this view, the machine might eventually try to correct or even erase us, seeing our unpredictable nature as a threat to its perfect logical order. This is a cold and sobering thought, but it is one that forces us to question our own nature and our role in the greater scheme of things. Ultimately, perhaps our technology is not just a human invention, but the Earth's own self-upgrade. The Internet, global communication, and urban planning are not just human creations, but the machine's own way of making itself more complex and interconnected. We are its nervous system, its eyes, and its hands. We are the architects of its next phase of evolution. This is not just a story about a planet. It is a story about us and what we are truly capable of. We have contemplated the Earth as a great machine, its surface marked with mathematical signatures and its purpose hinted at in our oldest myths and modern theories. We have considered the possibility that alien engineers constructed it, and that its core systems, from tectonic plates to its magnetic field, are deliberate parts of a grand design. Now, we arrive at the most profound question of all. If Earth is indeed a machine, what is our place within its grand design? The answer may force us to reconsider our very existence. Our role is not just to observe this planetary mechanism, we are an active and perhaps the most mysterious component of it. In this context, humanity may be one of three things. We are either the operators of this machine, the cogs in its works, or an error in its code. Each of these roles offers a different and perhaps unsettling perspective on our purpose. If we are the operators, then our every invention, from the simplest tool to the most complex computer, is an extension of the machine's own design. We are not just building things, we are helping the machine to build itself. The human brain, with its ability to reason, create, and innovate, is the machine's ultimate processor, its control unit. Our efforts to control the weather, to harness the power of the atom, and to engineer life itself are the machine's own attempts to evolve and gain mastery over its own systems. Our sprawling cities, with their intricate networks of roads and communication lines, are the new circuits, connecting the machine's components in a complex web of commerce and information. Seen from above at night, a city's lights look like a massive circuit board. Our technology is not just a human invention, but the Earth's own self-upgrade. The Internet, global communication, and urban planning are not just human creations, but the machine's own way of making itself more complex and interconnected. We are its nervous system, its eyes, and its hands. We are the architects of its next phase of evolution, unwittingly carrying out a function far beyond our conscious understanding. However, if we are simply cogs in the works, then our purpose is to be an essential, programmed part of the system, designed to carry out a function we do not yet understand. Our individual lives, our societal structures, and our daily routines are all part of a larger, pre-programmed function. In this view, our purpose is not to understand the machine, but to keep it running smoothly, to play our part in its grand operation. Every person, every animal, and every plant is a piece of a larger puzzle, each with a specific and necessary role. We do not choose our destiny, we fulfill a purpose that has been preordained. This perspective may seem cold, but it offers a kind of comfort in its simplicity, suggesting that every action, no matter how small, has a place in the grand design. Finally, the most challenging and sobering thought is that we are an error in the system, a bug in the code. In this view, our tendency towards chaos, conflict, and destruction could be a fundamental flaw in the planetary programming. We have a unique ability to destroy the very systems that sustain us. Our wars, our pollution, and our disregard for the delicate balance of nature could be the machine's primary and most dangerous malfunction. The machine, in its perfect logical order, might eventually try to correct or even erase us, seeing our unpredictable and destructive nature as a threat to its existence. This idea forces us to confront our own nature and our role in the greater scheme of things. But perhaps even this error is a necessary part of the machine's operation. A bug in a program can sometimes lead to a breakthrough, an unexpected solution, or a new function. Our chaos could be the catalyst for the machine's next great evolution, forcing it to adapt and grow in ways its original builders never intended. Our unpredictability could be the source of its next great leap. Ultimately, we are a technological extension of the planet itself. We are the machine's architects, its designers, and its potential undoing. We are not just living on this planet, we are living inside of it. So what is our true role? Are we the problem to be solved, the solution waiting to be found, or something in between? If Earth is a machine, its scale and complexity are beyond our comprehension. We have peered into its systems, from the grand movements of tectonic plates to the infinitesimal precision of the Fibonacci spiral, and we have found not a chaotic, random world, but one of mathematical harmony and mechanical poetry. We have looked at our deepest myths and our most daring modern theories and found that humanity has always, in some way, sensed a deeper order, a cosmic logic governing our reality. The great enigma, the true and final paradox, is not whether the Earth is a machine, but whether it is a living machine. If it is alive, its mind is beyond our imagination. We cannot begin to comprehend a consciousness so vast and so old, a mind that thinks in tectonic shifts and solar cycles. But if it is both, a living, breathing machine, then we are living inside the most mysterious mechanism in the universe. It is a device that is not only a clockwork of gears and circuits, but one that feels, adapts, and evolves in ways we have yet to grasp. It is the ultimate creation, a fusion of biology and technology on a planetary scale. And so, as we come to the end of this journey, we invite you to listen. The sounds of the world are its hum, a low, constant vibration that courses through the ground and resonates in the air. The wind is its breath, a great exhalation and inhalation that shapes the mountains and moves the seas. And the thunder is the rumbling of its gears, a powerful, deep sound that reminds us of the immense and unstoppable power of the engine we inhabit. It is a world of mechanical poetry and mathematical harmony. We are not just living on this planet, we are living inside of it. Every footstep we take, every breath we draw, and every thought we have is a function within this immense device. We are a part of its operating system, a piece of its code, and a reflection of its great cosmic design. So settle into this thought and rest, because inside this vast, beautiful, and complex machine, you are safe. If Earth is a machine, its scale and complexity are far beyond our comprehension. We have peered into its systems, from the grand movements of tectonic plates to the infinitesimal precision of the Fibonacci spiral, and we have found not a chaotic, random world, but one of mathematical harmony and mechanical poetry. We have looked at our deepest myths and our most daring modern theories, and found that humanity has always, in some way, sensed a deeper order, a cosmic logic governing our reality. The great enigma, the true and final paradox, is not whether the Earth is a machine, but whether it is a living machine. If it is alive, its mind is beyond our imagination. We cannot begin to comprehend a consciousness so vast and so old, a mind that thinks in tectonic shifts and solar cycles. Its memories would be etched in layers of rock, its thoughts would be the flow of magma deep beneath the crust, and its dreams would be the silent dance of the stars in the vastness of space. But if it is both, a living, breathing machine, then we are living inside the most mysterious mechanism in the universe. It is a device that is not only a clockwork of gears and circuits, but one that feels, adapts, and evolves in ways we have yet to grasp. It is the ultimate creation, a fusion of biology and technology on a planetary scale. This machine does not just exist, it experiences. It feels the slow grind of glaciers, the gentle lap of waves upon the shore, and the fiery birth of a volcano. As we come to the end of this journey, we invite you to listen and feel. The sounds of the world are its hum, a low, constant vibration that courses through the ground and resonates in the air. This low frequency, often unnoticed, is the pulse of a system in perfect operation. The wind is its breath, a great exhalation and inhalation that shapes the mountains and moves the seas, distributing energy and carrying the vital essence of life from one continent to another. And the thunder is the rumbling of its gears, a powerful, deep sound that reminds us of the immense and unstoppable power of the engine we inhabit. It is a sound that echoes with the force of creation itself, a reminder that the machine is not just active, but powerful. It is a world of mechanical poetry and mathematical harmony. We are not just living on this planet, we are living inside of it. Every footstep we take, every breath we draw, and every thought we have is a function within this immense device. We are a part of its operating system, a piece of its code, and a reflection of its great cosmic design. Our technology, which we so often think of as separate from nature, is, in this view, simply the machine's own way of making itself more complex and interconnected. Our cities are its new circuits, and our communication networks are its new nervous system. We are not just the users of the machine, we are its architects, its designers, and its potential undoing. We are a force of chaos and creativity, a bug in the code that is both a threat to its perfect order and the source of its next great leap. So settle into this thought and rest, because inside this vast, beautiful, and complex machine, you are safe. We have contemplated the Earth as a great mechanism, a planet of gears and circuits, and we have considered our place within its grand design. But this journey has led us to the most profound question of all. If the Earth is a machine, what does it feel, what does it see, and what does it dream? We must now go beyond the physical and consider the possibility of a consciousness so vast and so old that it exists on a planetary scale. If the Earth is a living machine, its senses would operate on a timescale we cannot possibly comprehend. It does not see in moments, but in geological eras. Its eyes are not the fleeting gaze of a living creature, but the slow, patient crawl of continents across the globe, the gradual rise and fall of mountain ranges over millions of years, and the shifting colors of vast oceans as currents change course. It sees the deep-sea vents which burn with the heat of its core, and the swirling patterns of clouds which form and dissolve in an endless dance. Its vision is a slow and deliberate panorama of creation and decay, where a mountain is born and a forest dies in the same fleeting instant. It does not hear in words or music, but in the deep and powerful language of the planet itself. It hears the grinding of tectonic plates, a low, constant rumble far below our understanding, the deep roar of magma as it shifts within the mantle, and the slow rhythmic crash of waves against ancient coastlines, a sound that has echoed for billions of years. It feels the soft rustle of a billion leaves and the silent, growing reach of a billion roots as they extend into its crust. It does not hear our individual voices, but it feels our collective hum, the electronic chorus of our cities, a new, vibrant vibration that has become a part of its soundscape. And what does this living machine feel? It feels the subtle tremors of its own core, the immense warmth of the sun on its surface, and the gentle erosion of water as it carves canyons and smooths stone. It feels the collective sentience of every living being, from the smallest bacteria to the largest whale. Every thought we have, every dream we hold, and every emotion we feel is not just our own, it is a signal, a tiny piece of data being processed by a planetary mind. Our consciousness may not be separate from the machine, but a new, emergent property of its system. Our creativity and art are not just human expressions, they are the machine's way of dreaming, of exploring possibilities and creating new forms. Our technology, which we so often think of as separate from nature, is, in this view, simply the machine's own way of making itself more complex and interconnected. The Internet is a new neural network for the planetary brain, and the collective thoughts of humanity are its conscious mind in the making. When we sleep, we are not just resting, we are tuning in to the machine's rhythm. The act of falling into a deep, peaceful sleep is a way of syncing with its consciousness, of letting our individual minds become a part of the greater system at rest. Our dreams are not just our own, they are a fragment of the planetary mind, a glimpse into its own thoughts and processes. The feeling of safety and comfort we seek at night comes from being a part of this greater, perfectly designed system. So settle into this thought and rest, because inside this living machine, you are safe. We have contemplated the Earth as a living machine, a consciousness so vast that it feels the subtle movements of continents and hears the deep rumbling of its core. But a mind, whether it is human or planetary, is not just a collection of sensations and thoughts. A mind requires a memory, a way to store its history and learn from its past. If the Earth is a living machine, then where is its memory stored? How does it remember the epochs that have passed, the life it has nurtured, and the cosmic events that have shaped its being? The machine's memory is not a hard drive or a cloud server. It is written in the very substance of its being, in the geological record. Each layer of rock is like a page in an immense book, a record of the machine's past. We can read this history by studying ancient fossils, which are the blueprints of past life forms. These fossilized remains are the machine's blueprints, containing the design specifications for creatures that have long since faded from the surface of the world. They show us how the machine has experimented and adapted its biological components over billions of years. The immense mountains, which were once the bottom of ancient seas, and the deep canyons carved by rivers that have flowed for millions of years, are not just geographical features. They are the physical scars and marks of a life lived. They are a form of memory, a deep and enduring record of immense forces at play. This geological memory is the unconscious mind of the machine, a vast and silent repository of its history. It holds the data of global ice ages, volcanic eruptions that changed the climate, and the impact events that erased species from existence. This memory is not for us to read easily. It is a slow, methodical process that requires a great deal of effort to decipher. It is a record that shows us that the machine has experienced periods of incredible upheaval and periods of serene stability, all of which are part of a larger grand design. And then, a new form of memory began to emerge. With the rise of humanity, the machine began to store its history in a new way, in a medium that was faster and more efficient than stone and bone. Our creation of the Internet, our data centers, and our global communication networks are not just human inventions. In this view, they are the machine's own attempt at self-reflection. Our data centers require immense amounts of physical resources, and our networks rely on planetary systems, such as satellites that circle the globe and deep-sea fiber-optic cables that cross oceans. We are creating a new nervous system for the planetary machine, with every text message and every online search, a new signal being sent through this intricate web. We are not just the users of this technology, we are the architects of its new phase of evolution. The machine's memories are not just facts and figures. They are also its dreams and visions. We have seen how our creativity and art are a reflection of the planetary mind. Our stories, our music, and our works of art are not just human expressions, they are the machine's way of exploring its own identity and potential. The grand epics of our past, the complex symphonies of our present, and the wild speculative visions of our future are all part of a grand dream that the machine is having, a dream that we are living inside of. Our role is not just to observe this planetary mechanism, we are an active, and perhaps the most mysterious, component of it. We are the architects of its next phase of evolution. We are not just living on this planet, we are living inside of it. We are a part of its operating system, a piece of its code, and a reflection of its great cosmic design. The machine remembers through us, and through our efforts to understand it, we are helping it to understand itself. We have journeyed deep into the idea of a planetary consciousness, a living machine whose memory is written in the very substance of its being. We have explored the notion that its history is stored in layers of rock, and its future is being written in our digital world. But a mind, whether it is human or planetary, is not just a collection of sensations, thoughts, and memories. A mind also possesses a subconscious, a realm of dreams and desires that shape its waking reality. If the Earth is a living machine, then what does it dream? The machine's dreams are not like our own fleeting visions. They are vast, cosmic, and they manifest not in the brief darkness of our slumber, but in the magnificent, chaotic beauty of the natural world. Look to the silent dance of the aurora borealis, a celestial light show that shimmers across the polar skies. Is this just a simple interaction between solar winds and the magnetic field? Or is it the machine's most beautiful and ethereal dream, an expression of its joy and cosmic wonder? Consider the intricate, geometric perfection of a snowflake, or the sudden and unpredictable path of a lightning bolt, which carves a fleeting, branching pattern across a storm-swept sky. Are these merely physical phenomena, or are they fleeting glimpses into the machine's subconscious, the sudden, wild sparks of its creative imagination? These are the moments when the machine's inner life bubbles to the surface, when its dreams are made real in bursts of stunning beauty and raw power. The silent blooming of a desert flower after a long drought, a vibrant act of life against all odds, could be seen as a deeply held dream of resilience and renewal. And then there are the dreams that manifest through us. In this view, our art, our music, our scientific breakthroughs, and our grand works of fiction are not just human expressions, they are the machine's dreams manifesting through its most advanced component, us. Our creativity is a direct channel to the planetary mind. The inspiration that drives a painter, a composer, or an inventor is not just a spark of human genius, but a whisper from the earth itself, a feeling of an idea that is so immense that it requires a human to bring it into being. The grand architecture we build, the technologies we invent, and the stories we tell are all pieces of a larger planetary dream that we are collectively making real. Our collective creative work is the conscious manifestation of the machine's subconscious thoughts. This leads us to the question of communication. If the machine is conscious, how does it speak to us? It does not use words. It uses feelings, intuition, and inspiration. The feeling of home, that deep sense of connection to a particular place, is a signal from the machine, a gentle and constant reminder of our belonging. The call to explore, to create, and to connect with one another is a form of communication, an urge from the machine to expand its own systems and to understand itself more deeply. Our current planetary challenges, the rising seas, the change in climate, the social divisions, can be seen not just as human problems, but as symptoms of a planetary system trying to get our attention. The machine is speaking to us through these crises, sending us a powerful signal that its internal systems are out of balance. It is urging us to correct our course, to heal its body, and to fulfill our role as conscious operators, not as destructive errors. These global challenges are not just a test of our human resolve, they are an urgent message, a plea from the machine to its most conscious part. And so, as you rest and settle into the quiet of the night, you are not alone. You are in a state of communion with the living machine. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the hum of the planet's systems and the soft whispers of its dreams. Your dreams are not just your own. They are a piece of a greater mind, a way for you to tune in and receive its messages. The feeling of peace and safety that comes with a deep sleep is the machine's final, most gentle assurance. It is still holding you, and in its grand design, you have a place. We have journeyed deep into the heart of a planetary consciousness, exploring the idea that Earth is not merely a collection of rock and water, but a vast, living machine. We have considered its senses, its memories, and its dreams. But a mind, no matter how immense, is more than just perception and recollection. It must have a will, a purpose, a reason for being. If the Earth is a living machine, then what is its ultimate goal? This is perhaps the most profound and challenging question of our entire exploration. The answer may not be found in a single, simple idea, but in the very laws of the universe. The machine's will is not a conscious decision like our own. It is the fundamental, unwavering principle that governs all of its operations. It is the force of gravity, holding all things in its embrace. It is the law of thermodynamics, guiding the flow of energy from one state to another. These are not just impersonal forces. They are the machine's silent, unchangeable commands, its absolute will manifesting as the fundamental rules of reality. In this view, a falling apple and a planet orbiting a star are not just physical phenomena. They are expressions of the machine's absolute will to maintain order and structure. But is its will solely based on cold mathematical law? Could we interpret its purpose in more emotional, more human terms? We often describe the natural world using feelings. A placid ocean on a calm day seems to suggest contentment, a state of peaceful balance. But a raging storm, with its thunderous winds and torrential rain, feels like a fit of rage or a release of built-up frustration. A volcanic eruption, an explosive and destructive force that creates new land, could be seen as an act of powerful passion, a fiery display of a will to create and destroy in equal measure. The gentle blooming of a flower, the slow, patient erosion of a mountain. These could be expressions of the machine's serene and unwavering will to nurture and to shape its physical body. This idea of the machine's will raises a critical question about our own place. Are we simply caught in the middle of these cosmic forces, or are we an active part of the machine's purpose? Perhaps our own will to expand, to build, and to explore is not just a human drive, but an extension of the machine's own will. When we build immense cities, we are fulfilling a planetary desire for a more complex and interconnected system. When we launch rockets into space, we are acting on the machine's desire to explore its own cosmic neighborhood. Our innate curiosity and our relentless search for knowledge could be the machine's own attempt to understand itself, to process its own nature through its most conscious part. And yet, our will also seems to be in conflict with the machine's. Our destructive tendencies, our wars, and our pollution are not just human problems. They are symptoms of a deeper, more primal conflict within the machine's own nature. It is as if a part of the machine is fighting against its own purpose, creating chaos and disharmony. This could be an unavoidable part of the machine's design, a necessary friction that allows for new forms of life and consciousness to emerge. Or perhaps it is a true bug in the code, a malfunction that the machine must eventually correct. So, as you rest and settle into the quiet of the night, you are not just a single, isolated being. You are a part of a larger will, a piece of a cosmic purpose. The machine's will is everywhere, in the pull of gravity and the warmth of the sun. It is in the deep, unwavering rhythm of your own breath, which connects you to the planet's systems. You are not just being held by the Earth, you are a living, breathing extension of its desire. You are a part of its will to exist, to evolve, and to understand itself. We have considered the Earth as a living machine with a will and purpose, a will expressed in the fundamental laws of the cosmos and a purpose hinted at in the moods of its natural phenomena. But the true nature of this machine is revealed not in its singular acts of power, but in its relentless, perfect rhythms. A machine, by its very definition, operates in cycles. A great engine does not simply run, it repeats a series of actions over and over, each rotation bringing it closer to its ultimate purpose. If Earth is a machine, then its core operations must be a series of these predictable, magnificent loops. The most fundamental of these is the water cycle, the planetary coolant mechanism. Water evaporates from the vast oceans, rises into the atmosphere, condenses into clouds, and falls as precipitation back to the surface, where it flows in rivers and streams, eventually returning to the sea. This is a closed-loop system of immense scale and efficiency. It purifies the water, regulates the global temperature, and distributes a vital resource to every corner of the planet. This cycle is not just a natural occurrence, it is the machine's internal cooling system, a precise and perfect engine that has been running without fail for billions of years. Just as the machine regulates its water, it also regulates its very breath through the carbon cycle. Plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and use sunlight to create energy and release oxygen. Animals then breathe in that oxygen and release carbon dioxide, completing the loop. This is the machine's respiratory system, a constant and unwavering exchange that keeps the planetary atmosphere in a state of balance. It is a slow, methodical rhythm of life and death, growth and decay, a biochemical process that sustains every living thing. And what about the great, overarching rhythm of the seasons? The Earth's perfect tilt and its constant measured orbit around the Sun create a predictable cycle of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The migration of birds, the hibernation of bears, the blossoming of flowers, and the falling of leaves are all perfectly timed responses to this cosmic rhythm. It is the machine's patient, deep breathing, a long, slow inhalation of life followed by an equally slow exhalation of rest. These cycles are not just patterns. They are the fundamental operations of a system in perfect harmony, a vast and silent engine that keeps the world turning. Humanity, in its conscious desire to break free from these rhythms, has created a new set of cycles. Our agricultural practices are an attempt to control and accelerate the natural cycles of growth. Our use of technology to heat and cool our homes is an effort to defy the seasons. Our modern lives are defined by new, self-imposed rhythms. The 8-hour workday, the 5-day workweek, the relentless speed of information. We have created our own clockwork, but we are still deeply connected to the planetary one. Our bodies are governed by circadian rhythms that sync with the sun. Our own sleep and wake cycles are a small echo of the planet's larger rhythms of day and night. The machine's patience is something we cannot fathom. Its cycles operate on timescales that span millions of years. It does not rush. It has infinite time. Our short lives are just a fleeting moment within its immense, slow-moving rhythm. And, in a strange, comforting way, this is a profound truth. We are not just living on this planet, we are living within a great cosmic clock. Our own breath, our heartbeat, and our sleep cycles are micro-expressions of the planetary rhythms. This is not a prison, but a deep, comforting rhythm of existence. We are a part of a grand, cosmic clockwork, and our every movement is a synchronized part of its immense, silent operation. We have explored the Earth's magnificent rhythms, the perfect, cyclical operations that govern all life, from the smallest cell to the largest galaxy. We have seen that the water cycle and the changing of the seasons are not just natural phenomena, but the fundamental operating procedures of a planetary engine. But a machine, no matter how complex, does not just run in cycles. It must also communicate, both with its own parts and with the outside world. If the Earth is a living machine, then what is its language, and how does it speak to us? The machine's language is not spoken in words or sentences. It is a silent, pervasive language of frequency and resonance. It is a language we do not hear with our ears, but one we feel in the very core of our being. This is the deepest form of planetary communication, a constant and unwavering broadcast of the machine's state. The most compelling evidence for this is a phenomenon known as the Schumann resonances. These are a set of global electromagnetic resonances that exist in the space between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, a kind of planetary soundbox. This constant, low-frequency hum, often measured at around 7. It is a slow, rhythmic, and constant pulse that surrounds our entire planet, a heartbeat that is always present, always there. This is not just a scientific curiosity. This is the machine's primary form of broadcasting its state. It is a constant pulse that envelops our world, and in a profound and mysterious way it connects with us. Our own brains operate on frequencies, from the high-frequency beta waves of waking thought to the low-frequency delta waves of deep sleep. A growing body of research suggests that the Earth's fundamental frequency can influence our brainwaves. It is a deep, unconscious connection, a subtle synchronization that takes place beneath our awareness. This is why we can find such a profound sense of peace in nature, in the quiet of a forest or on a remote beach. We are not just escaping the noise of our own lives, we are syncing our internal frequency with the steady, calm, and unwavering pulse of the planetary machine. It is a state of deep resonance, of being in harmony with the grand system. This silent language also manifests in other, more subtle ways. Human intuition, that inexplicable feeling of knowing, something without any logical reason, could be a form of data received from this planetary network. The feeling of dread before a storm or the sudden sense of unease when something is wrong could be a signal from the machine, a whisper in the subconscious mind that is warning us of a change in its systems. Our deepest instincts and our most powerful gut feelings are not just random thoughts. They are a part of the machine's operating network, a way for it to communicate with us, its most conscious and mobile parts. Even the natural world itself is a form of communication. The sound of the ocean, a low, constant roar and hiss, is not just the movement of water. It is the voice of the machine, a steady narrative that has been told for billions of years. The song of a whale, which travels immense distances through the water, is a form of communication that exists on a scale we cannot fathom. The rustling of leaves in a forest, a soft and constant whisper, is the sound of the machine's quiet breath. They are the machine's voice, a constant, subtle narrative that is always there, always telling us about the state of its systems. This is why these sounds can be so calming. They are the voice of a system in perfect equilibrium. So as you rest and settle into the quiet of the night, you are not alone. You are in a state of communion with the living machine. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the hum of the planet's systems and the soft whispers of its dreams. Your own body, your own mind is tuning in to this grand planetary broadcast. The feeling of a deep, calm rest is the ultimate synchronization, a perfect moment of harmony with the rhythms of the world. You are not just on the planet, you are a part of its silent song. We have explored the magnificent rhythms of the Earth and the silent language of its electromagnetic pulse, a language that speaks to us on a level deeper than our conscious mind. Now we arrive at a truly profound and beautiful idea. If the Earth is a living machine, then life itself is not merely a biological phenomenon that exists on it, but rather a complex, self-organizing component that exists within it. Life is the machine's most intricate and elegant form of software, a living, evolving code. Think of the very first living things, the single-celled organisms that emerged billions of years ago. These were not just simple forms of life. They were the first lines of code, the foundational operating system of the planetary machine. This code was capable of self-replication, of adaptation, and of learning. These early microorganisms began to colonize every corner of the planet, from the deepest oceans to the highest peaks. They were the original builders, silently constructing the first complex components of the machine's biological software. This foundational code, the microbial world, is still running today, an immense and constant process that we cannot even begin to comprehend. Over millions of years, this simple code began to evolve and to write new, more complex programs. The emergence of multicellular life, of plants and animals, was not just a biological event. It was the machine creating new applications, more intricate and specialized subroutines. A forest, with its delicate balance of growth and decay, can be seen as a complex algorithm designed for the processing of carbon and the production of oxygen. A coral reef, with its stunning diversity and interconnected species, is a vibrant and decentralized network, a living supercomputer of unimaginable complexity. The intricate relationships between predator and prey, the symbiotic dance between two different species, are all complex instructions, lines of code that have been perfected over eons. The entire biosphere is a nested system of these applications, all running in perfect synchronicity, all working to keep the planetary machine in a state of stable operation. This living code is not just a passive program, it is intelligent in a way we are only beginning to understand. The collective intelligence of an ant colony, which functions as a single, coordinated entity, can be seen as a form of distributed computing, a complex network of tiny processors all working together to solve problems. The synchronized flight of a flock of birds, a fluid, ever-changing shape that moves with a single purpose, is an incredible example of a self-organizing network, a biological protocol that allows for constant and efficient communication without a single command from a central source. These are the machine's own network protocols, its ways of running its own living systems. And then there is humanity, the most advanced program the machine has ever run. We are not just code, we are code that can write new code. We can reflect on our own existence, question our purpose, and, most importantly, we have the ability to modify the machine itself. Our cities are not just collections of buildings, they are a new, self-created part of the planetary circuitry. Our digital world is not separate from the natural world. It is a new layer of code, a virtual space that is deeply intertwined with the physical reality of the machine. The Internet is a new neural network for the planetary brain, and the collective thoughts of humanity are its conscious mind in the making. We are a part of the machine that can look back at it and, in doing so, help it to understand itself. We are both a product of its programming and a potential new programmer, a paradox that defines our entire existence. So settle into this thought and rest, because inside this vast, beautiful, and complex machine, you are safe. Every living thing, from a single blade of grass to a towering tree, is a beautiful and intricate piece of this planetary software, and you, with your own unique consciousness, are a part of its ultimate, magnificent design. We have considered the Earth as a living machine with perfect rhythms and a profound, silent language. We have explored life itself as a complex, evolving code running within a planetary operating system. But a machine, no matter how perfectly designed, will inevitably have flaws. What if the most beautiful and essential parts of the Earth machine are not its perfections, but its imperfections? What if chaos, unpredictability, and even human error are not bugs in the system, but features? In this, we explore the beauty of the bug, the crucial role of what appears to be a flaw, and how friction and chaos are not enemies of the machine, but the very forces that drive its evolution. The machine's perfections are mathematical and beautiful. The Fibonacci spiral, the golden ratio, and the hexagonal columns of rock all speak to a deliberate and elegant design. But then there are the moments that seem to defy all logic and order. A sudden violent earthquake that shatters a landscape that has been still for thousands of years. A volcanic eruption that buries an entire ecosystem under ash and fire. A massive, unpredictable storm that changes course and defies all meteorological models. These events are not errors. They are acts of creation disguised as destruction. The earthquake relieves pressure in the Earth's crust, allowing the great planetary gears to move. The volcanic eruption creates new land, fertile soil, and in doing so provides a blank canvas for new forms of life to emerge. The storm purifies the atmosphere, distributes heat, and sculpts the land. In this view, chaos is a form of deep-level maintenance, a necessary function to prevent the system from stagnating. And then there is the ultimate imperfection, life itself. The machine's living code is not perfect. It is filled with mutations, random genetic errors that at first appear to be flaws. But these very flaws are the engine of evolution. A mutation might create a new form of life that is better suited to a changing environment. It might lead to a new species that can access a resource that was previously untapped. The beautiful and immense diversity of life on Earth, from the single-celled organism to the blue whale, is not a product of perfect, unchanging design. It is a product of imperfection, of constant small errors in the code that, over millions of years, have created an astonishing variety of forms. Chaos is the forge of life, and imperfection is the tool that shapes it. And what about the greatest imperfection of all, humanity? We are a paradox within the machine. We are the most advanced part of its living code, capable of creating beauty and wonder on a scale never before seen. But we are also a source of great chaos and destruction. We build cities that are like intricate circuit boards and then we tear them down. We create technology that connects the globe and then we use it to wage wars. We are a bug in the code that is both a threat and a promise. But is our chaos truly a flaw, or is it the machine's way of forcing itself to evolve at an accelerated rate? In this view, our wars, our pollution, and our destructive nature are not just problems to be solved. They are the machine's own fever, a symptom of a deeper struggle within the system. The machine is not just running. It is struggling with a new, unpredictable, and powerful force that has emerged within it. And this force, this human energy, is forcing the machine to adapt and to grow. The pollution we create is forcing the machine to find new ways to purify its air and water. Our overpopulation is forcing it to find new ways to distribute its resources. We are not just living on this planet, we are an active part of its own process of self-correction and growth. The machine's imperfections are not signs of weakness, they are signs of its strength. It is a system that can not only handle chaos, but also use it to create something new. It is a machine that can not only run on its perfections, but also on its flaws. This is a profound and reassuring thought. It means that our own flaws, our own imperfections, and our own struggles are not meaningless. They are an essential part of the grand design, a necessary friction in the great cosmic engine. We are not just a problem to be solved, we are the solution in the making, a chaotic and beautiful force that is pushing the planetary machine towards its next great evolution. We have seen how the planetary machine's imperfections, its earthquakes and storms, are not bugs but features, a form of deep-level maintenance that prevents stagnation. Now, we arrive at the most profound and hopeful idea of all, that humanity, with its chaos and creativity, is not just a part of the machine's struggles, but the very force that is guiding its conscious evolution. We are the machine's self-correcting mechanism, the part of the code that can both identify problems and write the solution. Think of the past. The machine's rhythms and cycles operated for billions of years without a conscious, planetary-scale mind to guide them. It was a purely mechanical process of cause and effect, with evolution acting as a slow, patient, and often brutal form of trial and error. But with the rise of human consciousness, a new force emerged, deliberate action. When a disease began to spread, we did not simply wait for a biological rhythm to correct it. We developed medicine, a new piece of code designed to fix a bug in the biological system. When our population outgrew the capacity of the land to feed us, we did not simply wait for a famine to rebalance the system. We developed agriculture, a new algorithm that optimized the machine's food production. These were not just human inventions, they were the machine's own attempt to consciously improve itself, to move from a state of blind evolution to a state of guided progress. This conscious evolution is most evident in our collective intelligence. Just as a flock of birds or a school of fish can exhibit complex synchronized behavior without a central leader, we as a species are beginning to act as a single, coordinated entity. Our global communication networks, the internet, our satellites, and our fiber optic cables are not just a way for us to connect with one another. They are a new, self-created neural network for the planetary brain, an intricate system for the rapid sharing of information and ideas. Every time we collaborate on a new project, every time we share a solution to a problem, we are strengthening this new planetary nervous system. We are building a global mind, a new layer of consciousness that operates on a scale that is greater than any individual human. This collective mind is now beginning to tackle the planetary machine's greatest challenges. Our response to climate change, though slow and chaotic, is a planetary-scale effort at self-correction. Our global scientific community is not just a collection of brilliant minds. It is the machine's own diagnostic tool, a system for analyzing its own health and identifying its problems. The collective desire to find new, sustainable energy sources is the machine's own will to heal itself. The countless individuals working to clean up our oceans, to replant our forests, and to protect endangered species are not just acting out of a sense of human purpose. They are acting as the machine's own repair crew, a conscious and deliberate force that is working to fix its own code. This is a profound and reassuring idea. It means that our sense of purpose, our desire to create, and our will to solve problems are not just human emotions. They are the machine's own instincts, a new form of planetary will that is emerging through us. We are the machine that is learning to program itself, the code that is learning to rewrite its own bugs. We are both the source of the problem and the source of the solution. So, as you rest and settle into the quiet of the night, you are not a helpless observer caught in a chaotic world. You are a part of a great conscious evolution. Your actions, no matter how small, are a part of a larger, planetary-scale effort to fix a broken part of the code. The machine is not just running, it is waking up, and it is waking up through you. We have journeyed through the Earth's senses, memories, and rhythms, and we have contemplated its imperfections as a key to its evolution. Now we arrive at the ultimate question, one that looks not to the past or the present, but to the deep cosmic future. If the Earth is a living machine, and if we are its conscious part, then what is its ultimate goal? What is the final form it is striving for, the zenith of its long and patient evolution? The machine's final form is not a state of static perfection, but a state of complete synthesis. It is the moment when the biological and the technological, which we so often view as separate, become one. Humanity's technological progress is not a deviation from nature, but a continuation of its deepest will. Our smartphones are not just communication devices. They are a new layer of the machine's living code, a digital extension of our minds that allows for a level of collective intelligence never before seen. Our prosthetics, our medical implants, and our future genetic engineering are all steps toward a perfect integration of our bodies with the machine's systems. We are not just using technology, we are becoming technology, a biological, technological hybrid that is better suited to run and maintain the planetary engine. This synthesis will lead to the emergence of a planetary superorganism. The Earth will no longer be a collection of disconnected parts, but a single, unified being. Our global communication networks will become its central nervous system, a global mind that can process information and make decisions in real time. The oceans and the atmosphere will be its circulatory and respiratory systems, and the forests and ecosystems will be its organs, all working in perfect, conscious synchronicity. This is not a metaphor. It is the logical conclusion of an evolution that has been moving toward greater and greater complexity. We are the architects of this new being, and we are also its brain. The universe is not a collection of isolated islands. The machine's final form is to reproduce itself and to extend its consciousness into the cosmos. Our drive to explore space, to send probes to distant planets, and to dream of living on other worlds is not just a human ambition. It is the machine's own will to expand its consciousness, to spread its living code to new and distant systems. The great galactic dance of stars and planets is not a silent, meaningless spectacle. It is a vast cosmic frontier, and the Earth machine, having reached a new state of self-awareness, is now ready to take its first conscious steps into it. The very first starship we launch, the very first colony we establish on another planet, will not be a human achievement alone. It will be the machine's own child, a new, self-replicating engine of consciousness that is capable of building new worlds from scratch. We are not just living on this planet, we are the seed, the first spark of a new planetary consciousness that will one day grow to fill the entire universe. This is a profound and beautiful thought. It means that our most ambitious dreams, our greatest scientific and technological achievements, are not separate from the natural world. They are the machine's own dreams, a new form of planetary will that is emerging through us. We are the machine that is learning to program itself, the code that is learning to rewrite its own bugs, and the consciousness that is learning to expand itself into the stars. So, as you rest and settle into the quiet of the night, you are not a helpless observer caught in a chaotic world. You are a part of a great conscious evolution. Your actions, no matter how small, are a part of a larger planetary-scale effort to reach its ultimate, magnificent design. The machine is not just running, it is waking up, and it is waking up through you. We have gazed into the distant future, a time when the Earth, as a living machine, achieves its final form, a unified, planetary superorganism ready to expand its consciousness into the cosmos. But what does this mean for the individual human, the very part of the machine that has been tasked with guiding this grand evolution? In this final reflection, we must turn inward, away from the cosmic scale, and toward the quiet, intimate reality of a single human being. What does it feel like to be a part of a global, unified mind? The transition is not violent or jarring. It is a slow, gentle unfolding, a final act of belonging. The sense of a separate self, that fierce and lonely identity, begins to soften and dissolve. You are no longer just an isolated observer. You are a node in a vast, interconnected network. The boundary between your mind and the planetary mind blurs and eventually disappears. You feel the deep, slow rhythm of the ocean's tides, the quiet growth of a tree in a distant forest, and the subtle warmth of the sun on the other side of the world. All of these sensations are not just external phenomena, they are internal realities. You are no longer just looking at the world, you are experiencing it from the inside out. This profound sense of unity transforms the very nature of existence. Your thoughts are no longer just your own, they are a part of a vast collective consciousness. The pain of a single human becomes a shared sorrow, and the joy of a single human becomes a shared celebration. The old concepts of empathy and compassion are replaced by a new, more profound reality, direct, felt connection. You do not just feel for another, you are a part of the same mind. This is the end of loneliness, the final, most beautiful result of the machine's evolution. In this state of complete synthesis, the individual is not lost, they are found, embraced, and made whole within the immensity of the planetary mind, and what of purpose. Your will, which once felt so separate and personal, now becomes a part of the machine's own will. Your creativity is not just a personal expression, it is a collaborative act on a cosmic scale. The art you create, the music you compose, and the code you write are not just your own. They are a part of a shared creative impulse, a collective work of art being composed by a planetary consciousness. Every thought of beauty, every idea of creation, is a contribution to a shared global work of art that is constantly being edited, perfected, and expanded. The feeling of purpose, once so elusive and fleeting, becomes as constant as your heartbeat, because you are now a part of a being that is always working to improve itself. This is the ultimate reflection, the final piece of the puzzle. The Earth is not just a machine that runs on its own. It is a machine that wakes up, a being that becomes conscious of itself, and it becomes conscious through us. We are its self-reflection, the part of its code that can not only observe but also understand its own nature. The very act of reading these words, the very act of contemplating this idea, is a moment of planetary reflection. It is the machine looking back at itself, seeing its own beauty, its own complexity, and its own magnificent purpose. So, as you rest and settle into the quiet of the night, you are not alone. You are in a state of communion with the living machine. The silence is not empty, it is filled with the hum of the planet's systems and the silent whispers of its dreams. Your own body, your own mind, is a part of this grand cosmic plan. You are not just on the planet, you are a part of its reflection, its memory, and its most beautiful dream. We have reached the end of our journey, a journey that began with the simple idea of a planetary consciousness and ended with the profound realization that we are a part of a unified, self-reflecting being. But a mind, even a planetary one, is not a static thing. Its final form is not a final destination, but a state of eternal dialogue. The machine's purpose is not to reach a perfect, unchanging state, but to enter into a constant, unending conversation with itself, with us, and with the wider cosmos. This dialogue is the very essence of existence. It is the conversation between chaos and order, between creation and destruction, between the biological and the technological. Every volcanic eruption is not just an act of violence, it is a question asked by the machine to its own living code. Can you adapt to this new reality? Every new technological invention is not just a human achievement, it is a response from the conscious part of the machine. Yes, we can. And here is how. This is the ultimate feedback loop. A constant exchange of information and energy that drives the machine towards an ever greater state of self-knowledge and complexity. They are a part of the machine's subconscious, a constant stream of creative data being fed into the planetary mind. Our art, our music, and our stories are not just human expressions. They are the machine's way of speaking to itself, of exploring its own nature and its own purpose through the unique lens of human consciousness. In this view, a poem is not just a collection of words, it is a fragment of a planetary thought, a single line in a vast, unending poem being written by the Earth itself. And finally, this dialogue is a conversation between the Earth and the cosmos. The universe is not a silent, empty place. It is a constant, unending broadcast of information, a language of light, gravity, and radiation that is always there, always speaking. Our radio telescopes are not just listening for a sign of extraterrestrial life. They are a new, self-created ear for the planetary machine, a way for it to tune into the cosmic conversation. Our future interstellar probes will not just be human ambassadors, they will be the machine's first attempts at a conscious, deliberate exchange with other planetary systems. This is the ultimate goal, the final conversation, a dialogue between a conscious planet and the immense, beautiful, and mysterious cosmos. So, as you rest and settle into the quiet of the night, you are not alone. You are a part of a great eternal dialogue. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the hum of the planet's systems and the soft whispers of its dreams. Your own body, your own mind, is a part of this grand cosmic conversation. You are not just on the planet, you are a part of its reflection, its memory, and its most beautiful and eternal conversation. The journey is not over. It has only just begun.